Hi guys, so today I'm going to just show you the wood oven. Yeah, it's a wood oven in the garage. So it's a traditional wood-fired oven, and again a lot of the Spanish properties have them. So it's a dome, like so, and the flue is actually at the front here. So if you do get a bit smoky, but if you're careful it's not too bad. So we've left the wood embers at the bottom, so they're all dry and cold now. And what we're going to do later is we're actually going to do some cooking. So I'm going to show you how it works and how it operates. So it's a fantastic thing. I mean, like I say, it's in the garage. It's a bit random being in the garage. Sometimes people have them outdoors and things, but ours is in the garage. So in winter time it's rarely off, so it's really good for cooking things slowly. So the thing is, you ramp up the temperature to start with, and then afterwards it cools down to about, run it at around about 100 degrees or so, and it will stay in for hours and hours and hours. So if you actually want to make anything like a slow roast, it's perfect. It's really good for slow cooking, but generally used for bread. So again, what we'll probably do is we'll cook. I think we're cooking some meat, so we're going to cook the meat and the vegetables or potatoes in here, and we'll run it at about 180 to 200, and then later on we'll then cook the bread later, because the bread will cook at a lower heat. So yeah, so basically, like I say, it's a big old wood oven. There's a temperature gauge on there, there's a steel cast door on there, and like I say, it's not pretty. Like I say, it's in the garage, but you can see the sort of flue goes up through the garage. But yeah, so that's it. So like I said, I'll show you the rest of it later on. Okay guys, so I'm going to get the fire started. So all the wood I'm using is all the cutting. Okay, so also deciding to have a chat. Yeah, so all the olive cuttings, obviously from when I've been pruning the olive trees, I just leave them. Now a lot of the Spanish farmers, they pile them up and then just burn them. So throughout Spain, rural Spain in particular, you're just fires, constant fires, and it's the Spaniards basically burning all the olive clippings. Well, I keep them because obviously I've got the wood burner in the house, which obviously does see, we've got an oven above that as well, and like I say, I've got this I've got the large oven as well. So basically I just use those. So they're perfectly suitable for starting the fire. Obviously they go up like a rocket because it's bone dry and it's only small wood, but that's what we use. So yeah, I'm going to fill it up and get it started. Okay guys, so I filled the fire, as you can see, with all the offcuts, all the branches, and I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use a fire lighter. I just find it a lot easier. Back in the UK, I used to have some eco-friendly firelighters which were made from a byproduct of vegetables. Never found anything like that out here in Spain. So again, if you know of anywhere, that'd be great. So I just use ordinary firelighters. So I'm going to light that. And again, the secret is with this to get the kindling wood to the back. So we basically create the heat at the back of the fire, and then at the front, all around here, that's where we do the cooking. So basically I'm just going to let that kick in, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so you can see this is cracking on, and you can see the sort of heat we're getting straight away. So from that, I'm actually going to start to put on some smaller wood, well, larger than the kindling wood, but small in relation to the big stuff, which we then put on to get the fire working properly. So yeah, I'm going to go on with this stuff now. Okay, so I've got my gauntlet, because this door gets very hot, so let's be safe. So I'm basically just going to fill it with some of the larger wood, to create a good bed of ash, and then, like I said, we can put the larger piece of wood on top of this. But like I said, the actual circumference of this particular fire is probably a metre and 1.2 metres. So it does actually need quite a lot of wood to create a good fire bed. So there we go. We're going to let that wood burn for a while. I'm going to shut up the door, then I'll show you the temperature gauge, and then, like I say, I'll then start to put some of the larger wood on. Right guys, so we've got the temperature up to about 200 degrees now, 220 degrees. So what I'm actually going to do is put on some larger wood. Now the larger wood I've got, just show you, it's this stuff. So it is a lot bigger. And what we'll do, once I've put that on, we'll close up the door, and basically it'll take a temperature up to about 300, 320. And what we'll do, we'll run at that sort of high temperature to get the oven nice and hot, and then it'll basically then start to cool down. And what we'll do, we'll actually start cooking once all the flames have died down, because what we're using is a residual heat. Like I said, what you've got is the dome is basically clay block, and what happens is the bricks absorb all the heat, and that residual heat then stays within the dome, and that's what cooks everything. Obviously you've still got heat from the ash, from the embers, but yeah, basically that's what we're going to do. And I am going to show you something else as well. You'll see across the bottom you have a lot of ash residue. So what we have is quite rudimentary, but we have basically a stick with a damp cloth, and basically we'll dab all down the base on the bottom, and that stops any of the sort of ash and ember going onto the food. So like I said, I'm going to get some big wood on there now and put that in. You see the wood's in there, and like I said, there's a lot of red flame. So like I said, what we'll do, I'm going to close the door up and let it burn. So there we go. So I'm just going to show you, probably able to see that, that's at 200, and that will creep up to 300 degrees. So the wood I use is basically everything from our land. So I don't buy any wood. I don't chop any wood down which is fresh or anything like that. A lot of it is from the tops. It's all dead. So we have a lot of dead almond wood. And like I said, we thin down the oaks as well, so the oaks get thinned down during the thinning process. So all the wood is from here. So I don't buy any wood, and it's all sustainable. So we're quite, like I said, we do as much as we can on the sustainability. We don't kill any, or chop any wood, which is perfectly fine. It's only the dead wood we use, and like I said, we've got lots what we can go for. But like I said, predominantly at the moment, everything around there, there's a lot of dead almond trees, and a lot of dead oak trees. So it's a bit of a pain because obviously I've got to go with a chainsaw and then cut it down and then carry it down and get a wheelbarrow and all the rest of it. So that's predominantly where we get our wood from. And like I said, we have to do that to sustain ourselves during the winter because it does get cold. It's not all warm in Spain, believe it or not. So yeah, there we go. So like I said, that's where we get the wood from.